So here's something kind of cute. You don't have to do anything wrong for something horrible to happen to you when you're a minority. But life goes on, I guess. I don't know why the camera cut off, but we'll just make the best of it. So I'll try to splice these two videos together. Um, so the coffee's brewing, and here we go. All right, so let me share this with you guys. I sent this to some of my contemporaries, like the Canadian Prepper, Dept, Survival Prepping for Normal People, and the Prepared Mind. No response yet. So anyway, let me run through this here to the Inspector General and his deputy. So this is going to the Department of Justice. Well, they already got the facts. Good morning, my name is Reverend Davis, my address, blah, blah, blah. And sorry to bore you, but I will be doing my countrymen a disservice if I didn't write you. The country appears to be in shambles, and racial tensions are at a high we haven't seen since the days of the King Rise. I wasn't born then, but my mom told me of her participation. Seemed kind of pointless to me. Many months before the deaths of blacks by the police became big news, I had already made a decision that I would not protest at large, even though I was asked by a charming blonde woman. I made a rap video stating exactly that. All right. I prefer to strike with my quill so I don't have to worry about paddy wagons, batons, and below the sandwiches. All right. Sorry about that. I prefer to strike with my quill so I don't have to worry about paddy wagons, batons, and bologna sandwiches served at the wrong time with fake cheese. I could not be called a model citizen because I have been arrested more than once, but I've done some things like preach every Sunday. I've also pulled unconscious whites off of trains, blacks out of wrecked cars, helped the homeless, and I can usually maintain my composure even when confronted with outright bigotry, even shunning the N-word courageously, but not so stupidly the situation would escalate. An ugly word, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean no more harm or good than if someone said I was a patriot. That and 99 cents would get me the same cup of coffee. Please don't let any tacos prevent the rosin from hitting the strings. Now, I have been a best man at white weddings, Native American ones. I would even give the name Black Wolf by cheap. I treat all my neighbors and love interests with respect, whether they happen to be pink, yellow, or a different shade of brown. Once I accidentally made a Puerto Rican feel shame when he realized I'd help anyone, but he only wanted to help brown people. But aside from opening a church of my own or a charity, I can do no more. So how can we bring this arduous chapter of our history to an end and cross the racial divide? Elementary, my dear Watson. If there's a patriot below your pay grade, I humbly suggest you assign him or her to use propaganda. Miss Bernays was a genius. Now this here letter will go to the Justice Department, the CIA, and a high-end college like the University of Chicago. I would write Donald J. again, but he sent me a cheery form letter style postcard when I suggested he cut my pension and the nation's food stamps by 5% to help work on the deficit, so we'll skip the prayers this round. The training all camps receive from their academies is sufficient, but we have to get rid of the clown that tells the cadets that all blacks are suspicious. We have to do something about the creeping and wire that tells Japanese women upon touchdown of the plane that the Mako, white is okay, and blacks are bad. The well is already poisoned before I can even take the first sip. Now, everybody is not that sharp, but it's my understanding that someone found a way to market spaghetti trees, pastor patties, bad politicians, and the like. The war effort and rationing of World War II. Bonds. I propose a campaign be implemented to raise the black man's stature. A campaign to make chocolate even sweeter and black a bit more beautiful. In a hostage situation, and sometimes in wartime, the Negro is looked upon as less than and expendable. On TV, despite not owning many boats and planes, African Americans are shown as the ignorant and sometimes violent perp. A quicker means towards peace might be showing us in a more favorable light. There must be a feasible route to folks with dark skin to be embraced. I am not suggesting anybody relinquish power or I'll be allowed in every country club without an apron. I'm simply suggesting that if I must be a second-class citizen, that the powers that be smile a little more and fake it. If blacks can be showcased as real Americans, then the constable, cop, judge, soldier, and neighbor will be reluctant to use excessive force. Professionals don the blue uniforms proudly, but there are bad cops out there, like the one that complained of cold, then refused to prosecute the white guy who admitted he stole my car and threatened to arrest me when I vowed to destroy his backside. That's kicking his ass for you types that don't read much. And the blind cop who wasn't clever enough to do his job the right way. Instead of asking me if I saw anything suspicious and moving on after a nearby break-in, he was focused on me. I had on a three-piece suit with a tie and dress shoes, hardly cat burglar apparel. Finally, I imitated the great Jack Nicholson and said, maybe you should step back and look at the big picture. Another time after being stopped for a brake light, I became very loud and irritated when one of Florida's finest asked me if my Mercedes-Benz was in my name. I doubt he asked any of you that question. No ticket though, and I headed to the auto parts store. Let's not mention the stalker lawman that tried, but failed, to steal my expensive moped. He was outfoxed and embarrassed. Now, I've been arrested enough time, but despite never getting a felony, I do know reverse racism exists. Being evil to a Caucasian citizen because you have the power to do so does not make the world a better place, but I've seen it done. However, hating a whole group of any race handicaps and limits your menu, where you can go, with whom you can meet, and who you can hold. In Texas, a young white kid was fisted or raped over one cigarette when he failed to flush the toilet to draw down the smoke. Before and after the trial, he curled into a fetal position. I can assure you he didn't do that because he felt the sting of half an index finger. Yeah, I tried to say some kind words even though I wasn't a preacher then, but he was in a dark place and couldn't hear me. Sad part for Procter & Gamble anyway is that he likely quit smoking. But he probably hates all black people now and may even take his revenge on someone who didn't deserve it. And the racist brother had a hand like a catcher's mitt and was a burly 6'3". And if you're curious, the white guy was pretty small. If Dr. King, Garvey, Malcolm, and Generals Robinson and Davis came back from the grave, they could not lead minorities to victory in a race war. So if something does happen, I'll be on the sidelines. Instead of intel for the kill, I'll be gathering spices for my grill. Will I earn another combat action ribbon if I take up arms? Don't make me laugh. Diplomacy and new legislation, or should I say enforcement of what's already on parchment, sounds superior to cremation or unmarked mass grave. A civil war will be even worse because of its grander scale. Last time I checked, MREs suck. I'm all wore out, bloodied and martyred. A Bloody Mary instead, please. Extra horseradish. In closing, if my stature and those like me could not be augmented to a Brady Bunch kind of level, then there is a sort of melancholy alternative. A conference with the AMA, that's the American Medical Association for you who don't read the paper, martial arts specialists, military brass, police chiefs, and some mayors. All for the development of a new strangle or chokehold that incapacitates instead of eliminates the aforementioned minorities when they forget their place, are suspicious, or draw unwanted attention because of bigots or cowards with a cell phone. Breaking up a fight, possession of a fake $20 bill, or merely walking home from the corner store should not lead to one's execution. Oh, and there's something I pondered since I was 17. I'm 48 now. Why do only white deaths lead to rapid change? At least this latest file entry is for the good of my country. So I've heard guys that when you bother with the FBI, the CIA, and stuff like that, even if you have no criminal record, they start a file on you. So that's what I was referring to. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoy the coffee, pondering the wisdom of my words, and I hope the big wigs will do exactly the same. I think my letter is just going to be another drop in the bucket and probably get shredded, put on microfiche, whatever. But at least I can say that I did try to make my world a better place by helping those people and doing what I'm doing now. Just like when I tried to save March Madness and the Kentucky Derby. So as Bugs Bunny used to say, strategy. But if you don't prepare, it'll end in tragedy. My name is Garland, and I'm out.